work with enough people or experience, good morning everybody, work with enough people or experience symptoms or injuries of every kind, it can be easy, very, very easy to think that your body is sort of imprisoning you, and that it literally feels like you're in a prison of some kind. And that is the analogy usually used. You're restricted, you're in a prison, you're confined to a location, you're confined to certain eating, you're confined to schedules, you're confined to certain things. And so this is one of the reasons I do what I do, and how I do it is to have you go into the prison, so to speak, go towards the prison, to discover that it's not a prison. It's an oasis of sorts. It's like a hot air balloon covering a visual universe you've never seen before. It's a key to whatever you want. It's a book of literally a book written for you, only for you, that's updated regularly, that is literally your life and how to squeeze out more out of it, and how to taste more of the pages ahead from the pages before, while reading the pages now. But let's just say you don't understand this just yet. Either we haven't worked together, or we have and you're still struggling with it, or it's still early on, or you're in this office and you're looking at this information and you're like, I just don't know what he's talking about. I don't know how to apply it to my own life, okay? And so let's walk you through, first of all, why it might feel imprisoning to experience anything from any level of symptom to any injury. So think just like a basic rolled ankle. If we roll our ankles, we took a million steps and we took one not wrong one, because there's no such thing as a wrong step or a right step or a good step or a bad step or a healthy step or an unhealthy step. So we're throwing that all out. You just took a step that your experience led, that your body put force into the strongest tissues that your body could sustain at that time, creating damage, the opportunity for damage in an area for you to learn more about the processes of your body. We're going to call that, medicine's going to call that, a rolled ankle. So it doesn't really matter what it's called. It's for you. It's damage to the strongest area of your body, because you only injure the strongest areas. You do not injure the weakest areas. That's a very, very powerful point that you're going to have to figure out, or we will figure out together. But what's going to happen immediately when there's damage? You're, one, going to be afraid of walking. Two, you're going to feel very incapable walking, so you're going to have these beliefs about yourself. 3, swelling, inflammation, pain. 4, limping. 5, fear. 6, digestion changes. 7, sick to your stomach. 8, sensitive to light. 9, exhausted. 10, all sorts of activities are going to change. Your mood's going to change. Your emotions are going to change. This is rolled ankle. So is it just a rolled ankle? No, but that's what they got to fucking call it. All right. So it's an opportunity for you to understand your life and your body in your life and you moving forward. But what's it going to do for you? Well, it doesn't want you walking anymore. That makes fucking sense, because to it, you aren't ready to. Or walking is a damage and a threat. Makes total sense. Limping, swelling is a cast. It's an internal cast designed for you to stabilize that area if you have to get a little further. Makes total sense. So we don't want to reduce swelling. Makes 0 sense to reduce swelling when that's why the body put it there. Plus, as far as remodeling tissue, the swelling has to distend the tissue, so it opens up channels so that good can come in. Broken can go away. Damage can go away. So there's process behind it, but your body knows this. You don't have to know this. Another thing, it doesn't want you doing the activities you did. It also is going to change your physical activity spectrum for the short time being. So your physical activities that some you enjoy, others that you have to do, others that you get to do, you don't get to do them anymore. You're going to have to modify them if they're a part of your job or a part of your existence, or you need to for your survival. But if it was pleasure and leisure, no, physical activities are done for a short period of time or a long period of time, completely up to you. While that damaged area and that opportunity, it's going to cost you energy. So your digestion is probably going to change. So you don't get to digest foods that you can't normally under other circumstances prior to this damage. So you're going to have to change your food. It's going to be simplified. It's going to be limited. But you get to have this infinite experience within the simplification of your nourishment and your digestion. Everything else is going to change. Your rest is going to change. Your life is going to change. Your social calendar is going to change. Your habits, your routines, you're going to change everything. That can feel like a prison. It's just the body putting you in a position to slow down, to be able to see all these areas of your life so you can go into it. And if the damage is great enough, it doesn't go from a limp, it goes to you crawling around again, or being in a chair, or eventually going in and being in a bed. It takes you back through stages of development, so you get to rediscover new levels as the adult, going back through stages of development you did as a child. That's why every elderly person who doesn't take responsibility for their life, or doesn't have any changes, or doesn't want anything to do with anything, they just end up declining or resorting to this protective adult baby. That is what the body will do unless there's action taken. But mind you, the responses are for that person. So now again, take any level of symptom in any other, take heart, take lung, take skin, take hormones, take fertility, take neurological, take autoimmune, take cancer, take whatever it is. Whatever the healing response is going to be, the body's going to bring that person back through stages of development. And if it needs to be in a bed, it's going to put you in a bed. Even if the damage is so great that it shuts down everything and has you in a beautiful thing called a coma, all you are is just a sleeping infant. You get to wake up and come out and go through it again. And go through that again and relearn what it's like to be born again. What a great opportunity. Thank God the body does that, but we don't think that. We call it a 4-letter word like fuck, only it's coma. And then everybody freaks the fuck out because it's sad, it's scary, it's essential, it's healing, it's perfect. Just like all the other scary words put to all the other healing responses. So again, that is the natural, human, healthy, perfect approach, is where it can feel like there's a prison. But as I've said, when we've worked together, or you've kind of grasped this, you start to realize, holy shit, me being in the bed had me realize that I could get out and do these things and change. And then all of a sudden, when I got out of the bed, I was better than I ever had. I had more strength, more understanding. My relationship changed, my food changed. Oh my God, had me limiting my foods to those two, I never ever would have gotten to meet the people that I did in that area of the country that I went, and the area of the world, and I had this job change, and I had all these things. So again, when you go towards that, it goes from not really a prison, no more than a crawling is a prison to a baby. It's not a prison, it's just a protection system for you to go through and realize, and the work that you're gonna do to come out of it. Now, if we don't do that work, staying in that bed is where you will be, and that can sense like a prison, or continuing to limp for years on out, or continuing to only be able to digest 2 foods. 2 groups of foods can be here on out. Yeah, because you're not changing anything. There's no work being done, so that can be a prison. Now, that can feel like it's a prison. It's not. It's, again, keeping you there until you learn, keeping you there until you change, keeping you there until you understand, keeping you there until you just basically decide. Sometimes everything just shatters once you make a decision. Now, here's the deal. Let's just say, this is the take home for people who are like, I don't want to work with you. Or I like coming to this office, but I'm not ready to go into all this stuff yet. I'm not ready to change yet. I'm sleeping with all my practitioners and all my medical approaches, and I love the podcast and I love the people. None of them say what you're saying. I love all this stuff. I love dating. I love sleeping around in medicine. Not actually, but you know what I mean? Like, I just love dating it all. I love taking all the stuff. I love doing the things. I love all the stories and all the communities, even though I feel like shit and I don't feel good and I'm scared of it. I like being scared of stuff. I like learning about the new things to be scared of. I like learning about the new tests. I like being in these groups where we all kind of aren't responsible for ourselves, but we all just kind of like bleed off each other and do this whole victimization. I like this, and this is not, I'm not being sarcastic. I'm not ready to do what you're saying or what you're asking. Not yet. And you're being honest. Okay. So if you were in a prison, if you are restricted to a bed, if you are in a cell with all these other cellmates, like on all these other pages in all these other forms of medicine, let's just say you go into that. More tests, more screenings, more fear, more lists, more knowledge, more protection, more prevention, more medicine, more stuff that doesn't work and does work and controls flare-ups. You're admitting, like, I'm going to stay in prison. Great. You want to know what's cool? That if you actually literally believed you were in a prison, do you know what you can do in prison? You could take your cell and you could decorate your cell. You could individualize your cell. You could mac out that fucking cell so much to make this thing, make prison the shit. Make it yours. Stay in prison. Have the warden. Have all the guards. Stay with all the inmates. Wear the same fucking uniform. You all have little numbers on your chest. Diagnostic codes. Stay fucking there. But decorate your goddamn cell. Paint it. Put TV screens up. Burn things. Smell things. Have people come and create whatever you want. Just mac it the fuck out to you. And then what you're going to find is while you're doing all the intricate stuff in the corner and setting up a stool because you wanted to shine your shoes there because you have this thing, or you have this carpentry bench, or you wanted to build, or you have art over here, all of a sudden you look in the corner and you see that there's a block loose. All of a sudden you pull it out and you're like, my God, it's fucking outside. I could go outside. And then all of a sudden everything I'm talking about, you start to understand. So if you want to stay in prison, stay the fuck in prison with everybody else. But decorate your goddamn cell. Make it yours. You have a hospital bed that you're choosing to be in, mac that fucking hospital room out. What you end up discovering is, holy shit, these blocks are loose. Oh my God. Look at outside. Not ready to go outside, but it's fucking great that I can even knock out these blocks. Then you have no idea who you're going to be. You have no idea. We have no idea what's about to happen. And at any time, you can decide differently. At any fucking time, you can change it all as long as you are alive. As long as there's a breath. Completely your call. Choose to stay in prison, decorate your cell. Otherwise, go another route.